There's some similarities in purchasing a pre-owned car when purchasing a pre-owned watch. This is just like a used car. We want to see if there's aftermarket parts on a watch. One thing I'm going to do is put up on the screen a watch that I came across that I was kind of considering purchasing. Comment down below what is wrong or off with this watch. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, we're talking watches. I'm going to let you guys know what I look for when I'm purchasing a pre-owned luxury watch, specifically Rolex. But this could go with any other brand that you guys may be into, Omega, Patek, AP, no matter the brand. These are some things you can look for. So there's some similarities in purchasing a pre-owned car when purchasing a pre-owned watch. There's things to look for. When purchasing a pre-owned car, there is a little safeguard where we have Carfax. So for you guys who don't know what a Carfax is, other countries have different names for it, but a Carfax is where somewhere you could go online and print out a piece of paper, or you can just see it on your screen, the history of the car, whether it's been in accidents, different services that it's been through, and you could see if the car has been maintained and taken care of, how many owners it had. And that's very important when it comes to purchasing a pre-owned car. Now, the same should go for pre-owned watches, because a pre-owned watch could come out to the same amount as a pre-owned car. There's luxury watches that cost $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 plus. So the same focus should be on the history of a timepiece. Now, unfortunately, there isn't really a watch fax. Like, you can't go online and put in a serial number and really find out exactly where this watch has been through, like, let's say a service or a polish. In the same sense, a car, like if it had body work, if it had a car accident, if it had engine rebuilt, things like that is on a Carfax, but we can't really know for sure if a watch has been through certain things. Now, some of us have an eye to really see if some body work has been done on a watch, let's say a polish or a touch up or something like that. We get the loop and we really look in close, but sometimes it's difficult to tell how many polishes a watch has been through. Now, as far as services, we can't really tell, especially, like, let's say if we get into really vintage watches, like in the 60s, 50s, even the 70s, we're not going to be sure how many services or how many times this case back has been open to, let's say, replace a part. And just like a used car, we want to see if there's aftermarket parts on a watch or in a watch, in the movement. It's very important. We want replacements OEM, similar to just as in a car, we want OEM replacement parts. Sometimes the aftermarket parts aren't durable or effective as the OEM parts. So the things I look for is such: body work, similar to, let's say, you purchasing a pre-owned car. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get a Carfax to see how many servicing the watch has had, but based on looking at the movement, you could tell if you wind a watch, you could tell if it's functioning or running well. Yes, you could put it on a diagnostic test, which for a watch would be on a timograph, and tell if the watch is keeping time or losing time, or where it is on a scale. And if it's running well, we could kind of say, like, hey, it was recently serviced. Some watchmakers could pretty much look at certain parts and see if it's lubricated and see how the lubrication looks, the oil, and see whether or not it's old or recently changed. So things like that is what I would look for as well. I'll take my watch to a watchmaker and we would both look at it to see, okay, and he'll let me know, okay, this part was changed. And they would know, just as a mechanic for a car would know, okay, this is a common part that may, go out or may need to get changed after 10 years or 20 years. So most likely this was changed. And yes, it is OEM or it is aftermarket. So it's good to definitely get a case back open and have a watch looked at if you're purchasing a pre-owned luxury watch, whether it's Rolex, AP, Omega, Cartier, anything like that. open the case back to see the engine as a watch movement. We call it the engine. And also not just the inside, we need to look at the outside. Make sure the dial is original or OEM. It's okay, like I would purchase a watch if the dial is an OEM original Rolex part, but let's say it's a different dial color. That's fine, I'm okay with that. The one part that I may be on the fence with a watch like that is if it comes with papers. Now, in the vintage watches, the papers actually tells, and on the modern ones on the card, it tells the dial color. So if it says that the dial color is black on the papers and the actual watch has a champagne dial, you know, that kind of looks bad if you're trying to, let's say, later sell the watch. Now, if it has the original dial, the champagne dial, let's say in the sale, and he said, okay, this is the original dial, but right now it has a black dial in it, that's fine. But yeah, if it doesn't have papers and it doesn't have the original dial, that's okay. I'm fine with that. Sometimes you can't really tell. Now, one thing I'm gonna do is put up on the screen a watch that I came across that I was kind of considering purchasing, but the pictures that I'm gonna put up, I don't have the movement, but something in the movement also made me question it. But as we can see right now on the screen, the dial is a champagne dial, and we see the hour markers and the loom plots. It's fine, all original, all the parts is original, the hands, everything original, OEM Rolex parts, but not original to the watch. If you guys comment down below what is wrong or off with this watch, what doesn't belong on this watch, what wasn't this watch born with out the factory. Comment down below and I'll let you guys know, from my opinion, what I think was wrong with this watch. I'll give you guys some time. So hopefully some of you guys comment down below. Who knows, probably not. But one thing that stood out to me is that the hands, the hour hand and the minute hand, does not match this dial. So this brought me to a point where I started thinking, okay, the dial is original to the watch because it's typical and common for this case, a two-tone 16013, to come with this dial. I've had about 3 or 4 of these watches, all original, so I know what to look for. Now, you see on the hour hand and the minute hand, it has a black, I guess, line going through the center. Now, that is not a match for this dial. I'm going to try and find a watch where I'll put up on the screen the correct, same dial, but with the correct hour and minute hand. So this is a situation where it doesn't kill the deal, but it does affect the price for me. Sure, I could take it to a watchmaker and he might have correct hands laying around, and that's just a quick fix, not too expensive, but it does affect the value in my eyes because I have to go through the process of getting the correct hands, having it put in, because I can't really do that type of service myself. So I'm gonna add that or subtract that from the actual cost of, or the value of the watch. But that's things to look for, whether it's aftermarket parts, where it's an aftermarket dial, as far as not being OEM original Rolex parts. That's where I cross the line and I say that's a no-no for me. And overall, guys, just inspect the watch completely. Make sure everything matches, period correct, and it's not too far off, because a lot of times back in the day, yes, people took their watches in for service, and the Rolex factory, at the factory, they put in upgraded parts, and that's okay. But we don't want parts that's just completely aftermarket diamond dials, bezel. Actually, an aftermarket diamond bezel is okay. I'll let that slide in my collection. But definitely the dial, that definitely needs to be a factory diamond dial or factory dial, no matter what it is. And that's kind of the things I look for when I'm inspecting a watch, especially when I'm purchasing online. I really zoom in and critique a watch to make sure I'm getting something that I'm not going to be having any surprises when I see it in person. And yeah, so guys, if you're looking for a watch online, please take your time. Don't rush into it. It's a lot of money that we pay for these watches, so we don't want to get any surprises when we actually take it to a watchmaker to get it fully inspected and then finding out, hey, we've been screwed. So those are some of the things I consider when purchasing a watch. You guys can comment down below what you guys do, what's your ritual when purchasing a pre-owned watch. And yeah, so guys, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the next video.
Yeah. Look, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then dead I'm on site. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride. No need for the telephone hype, nah, no need for the snoozing. Big